Tonight on the program, the persisting problem of PM 2.5 dust pollution, how it really affects our health, and the progress of the clean air bill so far. Then we find out how low-carbon tourism is becoming a trend in Chiang Mai. And a story of a Japanese housewife who followed her passion for teaching in Chiang Rai. Sawadee ka, I'm Nad Bunag and welcome to This Week with Thai PBS World. Many Thais are suffering the effects of PM 2.5 dust pollution, especially in Bangkok, its vicinity, and in northern provinces. Particulate matter no larger than PM 2.5 microns or PM 2.5 is affecting people's health, which has compelled politicians to push for a Clean Air Act, which aims to tackle this dangerous air pollution. Morning air full of dust. This is what Bangkok looked like during the past week. PM 2.5 pollution is reaching dangerous levels in several areas of the capital, grossly exceeding the standard threshold of 37.5 microns and posing threats to people's health. According to a report by Thai Health Watch 2024, around 1.7 million Thais in 2023 were diagnosed with conditions resulting from air pollution, mostly respiratory diseases. Despite the fact that PM 2.5 affects people's health every year, it was not until the story of a doctor, Krit Thai, who died recently after documenting his battle with lung cancer on social media that Thai society took significant notice of air pollution. This persistent problem has led to the introduction of a series of clean air bills, which set out short, medium, and long-term measures to tackle the PM 2.5 pollution, aiming to bring about clean air for public safety. The bills are also aimed at developing air quality assessment, monitoring, and early warning systems, and introduces criminal and civil liabilities for violators. There are 7 drafts of the Clean Air Bill from the Cabinet, a People's Network, the Phumjai Thai Party, the Pheu Thai Party, the Phalang Pracharat Party, the Democrat Party, and the Move Forward Party. 4 of them have been considered in the House of Representatives, which are those from the Cabinet, a People's Network, the Pheu Thai Party, and the Phumjai Thai Party. The Clean Air Bill from a People's Network proposes tools and economic incentives, which include clean air taxes and a clean air fund, the revenue for which will come from fining polluters. It also proposes that vulnerable people be entitled to free health checkups in government hospitals. Bills from the Pheu Thai and Phumjai Thai parties aim at improving the geographic database system and identification of the sources of air pollution. They also introduce clean air officials who will have the authority to order polluters to submit related data to the Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment. The bill from the Cabinet shares some similarities with the others, such as introducing clean air officials, incentives to reduce air pollution, and penalties for those responsible for air pollution, including those outside Thailand. Meanwhile, the Move Forward Party's version of the bill proposes rights to healthcare access and receiving alerts when PM 2.5 rises above the safe threshold over 24 hours. It also introduces the development of an air pollution forecast and a database on the sources of air pollution, as well as revising the plans to tackle air pollution every year. The Democrat Party proposes that vulnerable people should be entitled to free health checkups at government hospitals. It also proposes that citizens should be involved in drafting a master plan to tackle air pollution, both at the local and national levels. While the Phalang Pracharat Party proposes clean air officials who will have the authority to punish those who emit toxic pollutants. It also proposes that areas with high levels of PM 2.5 should be declared hazardous zones. All bills insist that sources of air pollution outside Thailand will be held accountable if they are proved to be harmful to Thai people's health and Thailand's environment. So what has the Seta government done so far with all these bills? Last Tuesday, the cabinet endorsed the government's Clean Air Bill, which has gone through a public hearing process and has been vetted by the Council of State. This has frustrated the Move Forward and Democrat parties, who demanded that all 7 draft bills be considered, as they all aim to tackle PM 2.5 pollution, even though some of the details vary. Prime Minister Seta Thavisin has since approved the Move Forward Party's Clean Air Bill while he was in Chiang Mai province last Thursday and has sent it back to Parliament to be included on the agenda for debate. So far, Thailand's House of Representatives has passed all 7 draft bills aiming to tackle air pollution in their first reading. With the problem of PM 2.5 persisting, we also have to understand the root causes of this pollution. Thai PBS World talked to an expert about what can be done to solve the problem as well as the challenges ahead.
The scourge of PM 2.5 dust has been around for years, but many still want answers as to its root causes and, more importantly, what can be done about it. In an interview with Thai PBS World, Sirima Panyametikun, an associate professor at Environmental Engineering Department of Chulalongkorn University, helped to provide some of the answers. Sirima explained that the actual causes of PM 2.5 are incomplete combustion and the use of fuel that are not environmentally friendly, along with supporting factors such as meteorology, city planning, and green space. She noted, however, that the cause of PM 2.5 varies by region. In Bangkok, for example, there is pollution from traffic, whereas in the north, wildfires and slash and burn practices are prevalent, while in the south, dust pollution is coming from neighboring countries. As to what we can do to solve the problem, Sirima suggests that people need to focus on what they can control, which is the emission of toxic pollutants. There are also other things people can do. According to the National Agenda Action Plan Solving Dust Pollution Problems, Thailand focuses on 3 measures to address the pollution, namely boosting efficiency in area administration, controlling the sources of dust, and finding innovations to tackle dust pollution. To control the sources, the focus is on traffic, burning in open areas, the agricultural sector, construction, city planning, industry, and households. The Thai government has recently adjusted the standard threshold of PM 2.5 concentration, which was done in 2022 for yearly concentrations, and in June 2023 for daily concentrations. In January 2024, it also began reducing the maximum amount of sulfur allowed in fuel from 50 parts per million to just 10 parts per million. The most challenging part, however, is how to integrate technical measures, implementation, and other components. For example, elected laws that enhance the enforceability and adoption of effective measures. Even though collaboration from each sector is necessary, bringing such integration into action remains a challenge. Academia alone or only 1 or 2 sectors cannot efficiently solve the problem. Sirima added that she sees good signs in many sectors, especially from the civil society. This helps other related sectors to drive solutions faster.
มันไม่ใช่มีเฉพาะปัญหาฝุ่นควันเนาะที่เรายังมีปัญหาสิ่งแวดล้อมอื่นๆนะคะที่สังคมไทยเนี่ยเราต้องการนวัตกรรม
She stressed that it is imperative to foster a comprehensive understanding of the root causes before implementing effective innovations to combat problems related to dust, smoke, and other environmental issues. It is also crucial to use strategies that create opportunities and support access to essential items, empowering individuals to actively participate in environmental conservation. This approach aims to reduce societal inequalities and ensure equal protection of the environment for and by all.
คือทุกคนต้องการแล้วก็มีสิทธิ์เนาะหายใจอากาศสะอาดแล้วก็รวมถึงการรักษาสิ่งแวดล้อมเนี่ยให้รุ่นลูกหลานต่อไป
And of course, the excessive levels of PM 2.5 pollution can harm people's health. When Thai PBS World took to the streets of Bangkok, most people were already aware of the effects of PM 2.5. One thing they did not expect, however, is the hidden dangers of PM 2.5 in the long run. Here's more with Warisara Sehan.
The immediate effects minus PM 2.5 dust can be very obvious. They trigger allergy symptoms, causing stuffy noses, migraines, and possibly even itchy rashes. It is, however, the long-term effects that most people may not be aware of.
ค่อนข้างกังวลค่ะเพราะว่าส่วนตัวเป็นภูมิแพ้ค่ะจะไม่ค่อยแบบออกมาข้างนอกถ้าออกมาข้างนอกส่วนมากก็จะใส่แมสแต่วันนี้ลืมเอามา
ก็กังวลมากอยู่นะคะเพราะว่ามันก็มีปัญหากับแบบระบบทางเดินหายใจก็คือพอออกข้างนอกก็คือต้องใส่แมสตลอดเลยก็คือมีลูกเล็กด้วยเนาะก็เลยก็ต้องระวังนิดนึงก็ต้องบอกลูกว่าถ้าออกข้างนอกหรืออะไรอย่างเงี้ยใส่แมสตลอดนะลูกใส่2ชั้นได้ก็ดีแล้วก็ไม่ให้ออกเล่นข้างนอกเลย
To be honest, the only problem I see is that I don't see the view, right? Because sometimes it's so like white in the air that you can't see basically over 5 kilometers, etc. from the high buildings. And as for the health reasons, not really, to be honest.
Starting the day in a tricky way, actually. Right. It's a problem. It affects the psychology of the whole day too. I don't think that I have a direct effect, but in long term, it affects. Of course, it really affects. Maybe 10 years later, I will be diagnosed as cancer, and they are all the accumulation of all these sorts of, exposure of pollutions actually.
In the latest report this week, 11 areas in Bangkok have recorded excessive levels of PM 2.5, surpassing the standard threshold of 37.5 micrograms per cubic meter and entering the hazardous range for health. The persistent PM 2.5 pollution has affected over 13 million Thais, according to the Disease Control Department. While some are aware of the direct impacts of PM 2.5 on their health, there are hidden dangers which many may not be aware. Associate Professor Nitipat Yaragun from Respiratory Disease and Tuberculosis Department of Sirirat Hospital has been actively raising awareness about air pollution in Thailand. Talking with Thai PBS World, he helps to provide a clear picture of the hidden dangers that come with PM 2.5. He said excessive exposure to PM 2.5 can cause a range of illnesses, including pneumonia and asthma, and pointed out that there has been an obvious increase in the number of patients diagnosed with these conditions.
เมื่อเปรียบเทียบกันกับจำนวนผู้ป่วยปอดอักเสบในแต่ละจังหวัดในแต่ละภูมิภาคของประเทศไทยก็พบว่ามีความสัมพันธ์ของกันว่าพื้นที่ไหนจังหวัดไหนช่วงเวลาไหนที่มีฝุ่น PM 2.5 เพิ่มขึ้นเนี่ยก็พบมีผู้ป่วยปอดอักเสบป่วยมีการอักเสบของระบบการหายใจเพิ่มขึ้นนะครับอาจจะไม่ได้สัมพันธ์กันในทุกจังหวัดแต่มีแนวโน้มที่จะบอกได้ว่าฝุ่นนั้นเป็นสาเหตุหนึ่งของการกำเริบของโรคระบบการหายใจก็จะมีโรคเรานับตั้งแต่จมูกอักเสบกำเริบไซนัสอักเสบกำเริบหลอดลมอักเสบเกิดขึ้นใหม่มีโรคหืดกำเริบมีโรคถุงลมโป่งพองกำเริบ
He pointed out most people may not be aware that the tiny dust particles are also a significant factor in the risk of cardiovascular malfunction and other internal diseases. Dr. Nitipat explained that PM2.5 dust can also cause internal inflammation when it enters the human body. Due to its incredibly small size, it has the potential to travel through blood vessels to other organs.
ฉะนั้นผลของฝุ่นก็มี2ต่ออันที่1ก็คือเป็นผลจากตัวฝุ่นมันเล็ดลอดช่องเล็กๆที่เส้นเลือดฝอยของเราเนี่ยไปตามเส้นเลือดไปที่อวัยวะที่มีเส้นเลือดเลี้ยงทั่วร่างกายเราที่สำคัญก็คือสมองหัวใจและปัจจุบันคนสนใจกันก็คือเรื่องของไต
Dr. Nitipat emphasized, however, that it is yet to be confirmed in Thailand whether the long-term effects of PM2.5 are the sole causes of these diseases. The collection of data on lung cancer patients exposed to PM2.5 is currently underway, and this process is expected to take approximately 5 to 10 years to complete. Dr. Nitipat also emphasized that addressing a problem of this magnitude is the direct responsibility of the government. He offered his views in 2 areas, which he said should be given priority. The first is a short-term approach to safeguard the vulnerable, such as children, the elderly, and those with chronic diseases in areas with excessive PM2.5. The second is a long-term strategy focused on controlling the causes of emissions. He welcomed the clean air bills, which are currently being debated in Parliament, which he believes will be a concrete step toward tackling the source of one of the country's biggest health problems.
ทุกพรรคการเมืองก็พูดเรื่อง PM2.5 เหมือนกันหมดแต่ก่อนเราไม่เคยเห็นมีการหาเสียงที่พูดถึงเรื่องนี้ขึ้นมาก็แสดงว่าปัญหามันถูกยกระดับขึ้นมาแล้วแต่ตอนนี้มันอยู่ในขั้นตอนที่ว่าแล้วเราจะก้าวไปสู่ของการแก้ไขปัญหาหรือลดการสูญเสียได้อย่างไร
And now let's have a look at the other stories in our weekly roundup. The Constitutional Court has ruled that former Transport Minister Saksayam Shichop's post as a minister ended in March last year after it was discovered that he owned shares through a nominee in a construction company that was awarded a contract by a state agency. According to the Constitution, a minister is prohibited from holding shares in a company which is in a contractual relationship with a state agency, and their tenure as a minister will end if they are found to own shares in such a company. Following the Constitutional Court ruling, Saksayam resigned as Secretary General of the Phumjai Thai Party and as a party list MP, effective immediately. The House of Representatives has passed the first reading of 7 air cleanliness bills by 443 votes with 1 abstention following a debate. After the completion of the scrutiny process, the 7 bills will be merged into a single bill to be resubmitted to the House for the second and final readings. The government-sponsored bill seeks the creation of an air cleanliness policy committee to be chaired by the Prime Minister, which will be tasked with drawing up a master plan for clean and safe air and setting out economic, financial, and tax measures in the management of air quality. At least 23 people were killed and several others injured in an explosion at a fireworks factory in Suphanburi province on Wednesday afternoon. The factory is licensed and is in an isolated location far from any residential areas. The cause of the explosion remains unknown. 2 people survived the blast as they had left shortly before the explosion. The parents and guardians of 5 boys aged 13 to 16 who are accused of fatally assaulting a mentally challenged woman in Anyaprate district of Sa Kaeo province were asked by district police to come in for questioning. The 5 boys have been held in police custody since CCTV footage emerged showing one of them taunting the victim in front of a convenience store on the night of January 10th. The footage also shows the boys forcing her onto one of their motorcycles. The victim was later found dead and is believed to have been beaten to death beside a pond near a school in the district. And now let's talk about going green in tourism. Low-carbon tourism is becoming increasingly popular, and it is now being promoted in Thailand's northern province of Chiang Mai. Many restaurants and shops have been adopting ways to reduce waste and save electricity costs.
These LED bulbs, which use very little electricity and have a long lifespan, are some of the electrical equipment being used to reduce energy consumption at the Pavilion Night Bazaar shopping center in Thailand's northern province of Chiang Mai. To promote low-carbon tourism in Chiang Mai, merchants and street vendors are collaborating to reduce waste by reusing packaging and properly separating waste. Recycled garbage is managed in a waste bank to reduce its environmental impact and to generate an income for entrepreneurs.
กระแสของโลกยุคใหม่เนี่ยต้องมาสนใจในสิ่งแวดล้อมมากขึ้นนะครับเพราะนั้นการดำเนินการต่างๆเหล่านี้เนี่ยการทำธุรกิจก็ควรจะมีส่วนรับผิดชอบต่อสังคมซึ่งเป็นนโยบายทางกลุ่มบริษัทอยู่แล้วว่าเราต้องมีส่วนรับผิดชอบต่อสังคมตรงนี้เนี่ยก็เป็นการช่วยเหลือสังคมทั้งทางตรงและทางอ้อม
Restaurants in Haya sub-district in Chiang Mai have also changed their electrical equipment to save energy, and they manage waste more efficiently too. Among the most important things is to use ingredients from local organic farms within a radius of up to 50 kilometers to reduce chemical residues and energy use by limiting the transportation distance.
ฝั่งเราเองเราก็ได้มีการกระจายบอกไปในกลุ่มทัวร์เอเจนต์ในกลุ่มลูกค้าที่สนใจในบริการเราก็จะมีขึ้นอยู่ในหน้าเว็บไซต์ว่าสินค้าของเราเนี่ยเป็นสินค้าออร์แกนิกแล้วก็เป็นสินค้าที่ได้มาด้วยกระบวนการแฟร์เทรดนะคะซึ่งอันนี้เป็นสิ่งที่ทำให้ลูกค้าต่างชาติโดยเฉพาะต่างชาติในฝั่งตะวันตกเองเนี่ยเขาจะค่อนข้างให้ความสำคัญในเรื่องของสิ่งเหล่านี้
The amount of various types of waste will become carbon credits, and the amount of greenhouse gas can be reduced. This is low-carbon tourism, which the Chiang Mai Tourism Council is promoting and on which the international community places great importance.
ในตลาดต่างประเทศจริงๆเนี่ยตอนนี้เกิน 50% แล้วที่เขาต้องการ Green Service พวกนี้ไม่ว่าเขาจะเลือกโรงแรมเลือกร้านอาหารเลือกแหล่งท่องเที่ยวต่างๆเพราะนั้นตรงนี้เนี่ยถ้าพูดถึงเรื่องของในด้านการตลาดเนี่ยมันเป็นเทรนด์ที่ผู้ประกอบการจะต้องพาตัวเองไปถึงตรงนั้นนะครับเพราะถ้าเราไม่ทำเนี่ยหนึ่งก็คือเราตามเทรนด์ไม่ทันสองเรื่องของภาษีคาร์บอนอะไรต่างๆจะตามมา
The Chiang Mai Tourism Council is also accelerating the creation of a low-carbon tourism business network, including hotels, restaurants, and transportation, with a target of no less than 100 operators within the next year. This will enhance and expand the tourism market and support sustainability for the overall tourism industry. Gittipat Sukhjit, reporting for Thai PBS World.
And now in this episode of Home Away, we meet a Japanese housewife who followed her passion and became a university lecturer at Mae Pha Luang University in Thailand's northern province of Chiang Rai.
When we were in Japan, we talked about maybe we can do something for Thailand because they did so much to us and we really enjoyed staying there. We love Thailand. Maybe we can go back there and do something.
Hiroko Negishi, a Japanese housewife who has become a university lecturer at the age of 59, embarked on a remarkable journey that has taken her from a traditional role of a woman in Japan to being part of the academic landscape of Thailand, teaching the intricacies of the Japanese language. Hiroko's story stands out as a testament to the transformative power of passion, determination, and the pursuit of lifelong learning. Her passion for teaching ignited with her father's intention to provide a good education for his children.
My father went only elementary school, because of the time, it was very difficult to go to pursue higher level of education. So his passion was to give his children good education. So he said, when I asked him, can I go to study abroad? He said, okay, I can borrow money and invest in you because your passion is really strong.
After Hiroko graduated from university, she received an offer to work for a Japanese manufacturer in Michigan. She worked there for around 5 years before she discovered that her younger brother was terminally ill. She decided to return to Japan to be with him until he passed away, which she says was a huge turning point for her. After working in Japan for a while, Hiroko faced another turning point in life when she got married and pregnant. Shortly after, she had to follow her husband, who had been assigned to work in various countries.
And then I got pregnant too right away, so I'm gonna take a maternity job and keep my career, and that's what I wanted to do. But my husband's company told him that he was assigned to work in the United States. So I asked my husband, can I stay here and keep my career? And he said, nope. So I said,
Why is that?
Why is that? Because maybe he didn't want to lose me. He wanted to be with me. And he probably wanted to see my baby grow in my tummy. So I said, yes, okay, if he insists.
After 30 years of being a housewife, Hiroko and her husband returned to Japan when her husband retired from his job in Vientiane. They felt that they wanted to do something in Thailand as they both have plenty of memories from their vacations. Her husband contacted his friend in Thailand and asked if there is anything he could do in Thailand. After that, he was given an opportunity to become a visiting scholar at Maphalong University. Her husband also introduced Hiroko to the university, so she could also work as a scholar, which was a huge surprise for her.
So maybe he thought that, maybe my wife can do something, and maybe she wants to do something. And that was really surprising, and I was really happy about it. Yeah, and then that was a big chance for me to be a visiting scholar at MFU.
With much experience in teaching both English and Japanese, it was not hard for Hiroko to become a visiting scholar. After a semester, the university asked her to become a full-time lecturer. She didn't hesitate to seize that opportunity. Hiroko has been a full-time lecturer at Maphalong University for a semester, and she says that she really enjoys what she's doing in Thailand. Her dream came true when the university offered her a contract, even though it's only a one-year contract, as 60 is the retirement age in Thailand.
I really enjoyed teaching. I enjoyed my co-workers and my students, and I shared my Japanese culture, sing and dance, and doing calligraphy and doing origami and teaching Japanese basic language, and I loved it. And we have only 3 teachers in MFU, Japanese teachers.
Even though Hiroko enjoys her life in Thailand, the biggest culture shock for her is being asked how old she is, which is considered impolite in Japanese culture. Eventually, she started to understand why Thai people would ask someone about their age.
Asian culture, Southeast Asian culture, you ask age first, especially Puin. But in Japan, you never ask age, right? Because it's not polite. Mai supap. But here, you ask age because you have to say, Pi Hiroko, right? Non dia, ใช่ไหมคะ? So I feel like, are you going to ask my age? And everybody around me is known.
Nevertheless, Hiroko never regrets choosing family life over the professional life, as she believes that the right thing will come at the right time. กิติพัฒน์ ชื่นสุขจิต and Marisara Sahan reporting for Thai PBS World.
And what we've learned from this story is that it's never too late to follow your dreams. And that wraps up tonight's edition of This Week with Thai PBS World. Join us every Friday at 10:30 p.m. only on Thai PBS. And don't forget to follow us on social media, including our website, thaipbsworld.com, for all the latest updates about Thailand as well as analyses. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week. สวัสดีค่ะ
รู้ไหมไทยติดอันดับ 6 ประเทศที่ทิ้งขยะพลาสติกลงทะเลมากที่สุดในโลกมาจากขยะที่เราใช้กันอยู่นะ
ไม่ต้องอึ้งแอปไทย PBS โฉมใหม่เข้าใจง่ายใครๆก็ใช้ได้